It's my feel-good breakfast show.
It is your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso, and it's Friday. I'd like to remind you that it is Friday today. You can chill out, you can relax. We got you. We got all the entertainment you need. And in fact, we're going to zone in on some local talent. Now, we are joined by a man who literally does it all. And I mentioned this to you earlier: acting, directing, playwriting, a vocalist, a dancer. There's nothing that this gentleman cannot do. And then the shows. Let me just go through a small list. The Black Door, Deep City, Eostela is another one. It was Uzalo is another one. Gee whiz, this guy. His name is Thobani and Nzuza. And we're about to have the honor of having this man in the presence of you and, of course, me on Expresso. Thobani. I know there's hype, but you deserve the hype, man. You do everything, my friend. Honestly, you do.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man. And thanks for having me.
No, you're welcome.
Yeah.
So, no, thank you for coming through. So, I need to ask this.
Sure.
In one calendar year, you'll take on a bunch of different shows, maybe a play or two, or you know, a lot of different material, okay? Different narratives. How do you manage to balance and keep each character you play separate? Because, you know, how do you actually get onto set and say, okay, wait, hold on, I'm Uzalo, I have to be this person, I have to be this person, that person. How do you do it?
I think it goes with training, firstly,
Yeah.
and secondly, each and every character, there must be you in it. And I also think with the production that I'm always get casted on, they have that thing of challenging me into doing something different. On Uzalo, I was acting actually an actor in a show.
Yes.
I was an actor in the show.
Yeah.
On Deep City, I had 2 roles. On the one that I'm doing now, which is called Isita, I also have 2 roles, Lazarus Nkunu and Kuma Sokulu. So it always gives me a chance to jungle around, to play around, and also it's got a help from theater. Because when you're doing theater, you're able to do multiple roles in one show. For example, I did the one-man show here at the Baxter Theater.
Beautiful.
I was playing 12 characters in one show. So with that kind of experience, it always helps when you are given a different role in a different show.
This is crazy that you can do that, though.
Yeah.
But I want to talk a bit about the layered role that is, you know, you're saying Lazarus and Kuma. Yeah, like, I'd love to know a bit more about that role, because, you know, I love layered roles. And I mean, clearly you can play 12 characters. So, so tell me about Lazarus, you know, and of course in Isita, you know.
Lazarus was a chief's right-hand man, and then he fell in love in a way of accepting that the woman that helped him when he was about to die has now been disowned by the chief or the king of the Eswazini.
Okay.
So the lady, the queen mother, falls in love with this guy, and they are in a way in a secret love with under the king's nose. When the king finds out, the guy runs back and goes back to his own country, which is South Africa, in Mpumalanga, in a small town called Esihlahleni. That way he comes back, and his family have known for a year that he died. Now he just comes back. When he comes back, he finds his brother is now married to to his younger brother. That complex life, that him trying to claim his life back, him also trying to prove that he can't be the man that he used to be back then. In the story, you can find topics of family position, of family power. It's also, the show itself speaks about the root causes of crime, of which is the correction that I challenge worldwide. It also speaks of enemies. Your brother can be your enemy in a way that he can kill you. Your wife can be your enemy. Still forced by the family to be with you while she is no longer there with you in terms of utando. So it's topics that we do have in our communities. When you're watching the show, you're going to relate with them. And the show is set in Mpumalanga, which is, I think, the first show to be set in Mpumalanga. Most shows are in Durban or in Johannesburg, somewhere in Soweto, but this one, we chose in Mpumalanga. Because there's nothing...
The culture. That's so steeped in culture. There's not metro and other influences there. I think that's the beautiful uniqueness of it. But I can hear that you study your characters.
Yeah.
You study your characters like it is actually your own. I think that's the key. That's why you want a SAFTA, I think. You know? Best actor SAFTA.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not this. I know you're smiling. You're like, oh, you mentioned that. Yes, there you are. Look at that. I want you to be proud of yourself, because that's why we have you on the couch today. We want to say we're proud of our own.
Yes.
And can I ask you, I mean, are there any dreams of taking this out of our borders?
Yes, yes, I do, but I still want to tell my own stories here in South Africa. Before I go out of the country, I think we are doing more of international stories, or stories that does not resonate with our communities. I come from the rural areas before I went to Durban University of Technology and stay in a community of Umlazi, which is a township. I still want to tell stories of my Kwantunjambili. The stories which some, when they listen to, they would say, "Kwasuka sukela," which is more of Izinganekwane. But are stories that we grow up having them in our communities. If me, I leave the country and go somewhere else, who's going to tell those stories? They'll come international people and scoop our stories and feels as if we don't have them, because they'll cast those who are of their own and of that color, which will now suddenly be as if it's their story, not ours. So we must stick with our own. And I do wish and pray that God does grant me that opportunity to be able to do my own stories.
Thobani, what you just mentioned, I hope you know how important that is. We've got to look after our own country first. If you've got talent, you know, share it here. Tell our stories. Trust me, the international stuff will come, but charity begins at home. We look after our own first, which is powerful. So thanks a lot for joining us. Congratulations on all the success. We look forward to seeing you in the next shows. And Esita, this sounds very interesting, the Lazarus story, but make sure you follow this man's career. It's Thobani and Nzuza on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.